morning, everybody. Good morning. Good to see you again. Go ahead.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Who were we just talking about this morning? Go way back.
Hi, Gwen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Look at this crew. Paul.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. The whole group of commissioners. Hi, Steve. Thanks for having us. Commissioner Hell. Hey, Steve. Thanks for coming.
I feel bad.
Yes, absolutely. Hi.
Should I tell them we were
A lot of construction going on.
Okay, hi, Dave.
Hi, Dennis Olson, Higher Education. Thanks for having us.
Dave.
Hi, Jennifer Housing.
Hey, welcome. Dave.
Great to be here.
I'm Ida Rosavina from IEEE.
Welcome.
So much again for welcome.
Yeah, you're excited to have you here. Yeah.
You guys have got it.
We've got it.
So it's your building. Oh, welcome. So here we go.
Well, thank you for being here today. We're very excited to have the Children's Commission be here today. I want to introduce Governor Walz, and we want to welcome him to Pine Bend Elementary in Iver Grove Heights, Minnesota.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Principal Superintendent. Thank you for having us, all the folks at Pine Bend, the students, the staff, the support staff, the teachers, everyone that makes the school such a special place. We are grateful to be here. When I say we, First Lady's here. Obviously for us, this building for me especially, a former armory and a school now. So a lot of commonality here. But I'm joined today by a group of folks who have dedicated their life to making sure that our children get the best opportunities possible. The Children's Cabinet is here, led by Aaron Bailey, but you see all our commissioners stretching across many state agencies. You see our partners from the Children's Defense Fund to Isaiah and to others who are out there with that philosophy. It takes a village. It takes a village to raise our children. And that village right now is reaching its arms out around folks, around our kids, around their families. And we're here today to see the exciting stuff that's happening here at this school. We know that there's incredible opportunities in curriculum that's happening. There's incredible opportunities in making sure that our children are getting the nutrition they need. They're leading and leaning into the work that we did collectively in Minnesota around literacy and the things that are happening. And they're making sure this building is inclusive to all of our students. And we'll see a little bit of the indigenous education that's happening here that's critical. And that comes just on. I was with one of our tribal leaders today signing compacts with them after we dedicated the plaza at the state capitol to the flags of our 11 sovereign nations. So it's an exciting day. We're going to go in. We've got a lot of programming here. And again, I think part of this is to make sure that we're seeing this. This is an all-of-government approach to our children. And we had an economic briefing today that looked into some of the different metrics that rank the states of where they land. And Minnesota consistently ranks in the top 10 of almost every category. The one I'm most proud of is that we are now in the top 2 of states, a best place to raise a family and a best place for children to grow up. And that includes everything from those children's safety, which is on all of our minds now, to the opportunities they have to live the life they want to. So it's an exciting time. We thought maybe we'd take a few of the questions before we go in from all of you and then make accessible to see what's in here. The First Lady is always very clear, Principal, on this, is when we schedule these visits, she said, make sure that we're not interrupting instruction time, and that the teacher in her knows that. And we know it's a bit disruptive to the staff and everyone here at Pine Bend, but I think it's really important that this is happening with hundreds of thousands of students in countless districts across the state. It's an exciting time. It's a good time. There's good things happening, and we are simultaneously balancing the tragedy that all of us are still feeling very, very deeply with our ability to make sure that all of our children in Minnesota feel safe and have these opportunities. So with that, we'd be glad to take a couple questions.
Governor, you talked a little bit about some of the positive metrics. I know child care is one of the more
Yeah.
expensive parts of
Yes.
taking care of kids in Minnesota. What do you have to say about where that stands in Minnesota?
Yeah, and this is a great question, and I am good friends with the governor of New Mexico. We served together in Congress, Governor Lujan Grisham, who just announced this week free child care across the state of New Mexico. Now, as I told Erin, I said, come on, Erin, on this. She said they have a lot less children on this. So there's some economics behind that, but I agree. And of the 2023 legislative session, I think one of the things that we did not get done, we got much done, and I'm very proud of it, but one was the tax credit on child care, and that especially hits all families, especially those in the middle class, and we continue to hear this as a major concern of families, and it's one that we are going to focus on. I think that tax credit that we had put forward was a great proposal. It was the most aggressive in the country. I'm going to bring that back again. I think that's exactly what we need to do, and I think families, again, talking about all families, about how important that child care piece is, and the focus on making sure that we are partners in it. And again, it's that we know that the pre-K and the early start and all the money we invest in early childhood education comes back to us many times over. The thing about child care too, that's the economy behind the entire economy, that we know that we're looking for workers. Hard for them to get out and do it if they can't find child care.
Governor, how much uncertainty is there about education funding and education support from the federal government, given the Trump administration's attack on the federal education?
Yeah, it's a good question. The question is about the uncertainty in federal education funding. There's a lot of uncertainty in that. In many decades of work that was done to make sure that we're targeting the specific dollars to specific groups, then what we understood in Minnesota is very early on, going back to the Anderson administration of the Minnesota Miracle, is it shouldn't matter where you're at, what your zip code is, who you're at, anything about you. You should get that quality education from War Road to Winona. And trying to make that happen, a big piece of that was predicated on the federal dollars coming back to us, which I remind people, we pay more in than we get back. We're one of a dozen states that pays in. We're more than happy to help other states and neighbors, but I am deeply concerned now that the ideology and some of the strings that are being attached to money that's coming back is going to make that more difficult. So it's a great question. I think every day I get an economic briefing on the federal policies. I think one of my biggest frustrations with what's currently going on, and they are numerous, but it's just the haphazard way stuff is rolled out and pulled back. We saw it again on an immigration issue of raiding a Hyundai plant in Georgia that now they're saying was a bad thing. Yes, that was a bad idea. That was a bad thing that happened, but the damage goes forward. I think the same thing with education.
What can you tell us about the bus tour you were just on? What were you all?
Yeah, we're just riding on a bus, and I said, "This is like I'm sentimental on this." In the early days, and the First Lady can tell you this, that in smaller rural districts, we had to get our bus license so that we could drive to football games, and so a lot of time on the bus. We had a great driver, is entrusted with keeping our students safe. And part of it was to come here and to try and be in this school and experience it. I'm always very cautious about and again, the First Lady always reminds me of this. It's one thing to pop into a school for an hour and leave in September. It's another thing to be there in February after you've been there and everything's happening. I think it's very important for us to hear the excitement that's happening here, watch what's going on, and then take back and learn from that. And I don't think, we don't think this has happened very often. You've got commissioners from across state government. The transportation commissioner is a key part of education and how we move it, from the buses and everything else. That's why MnDOT is here. And so.
Tom, if I could just mention that I had the governor sit in the front of the bus because he is prone to bus sickness. So we were right in the front. So.
That was a big scandal last year in the campaign. I'm car sick.
I thought you were going to say it's a behavior problem.
Well, we're glad to have, I think we've got it figured out, get some cameras along with us. Any final thoughts?
Governor Walz, you had said after Labor Day you were going to get to that decision on if you would run again. Where are you in your thought process?
Yeah, again, not being coy on this, I think life comes at you and you play the cards you're dealt. It's been a tough summer as we've thought about it. we want to make an official announcement here in the next, I think, few days to try and get out there. It's a privilege of a lifetime to serve as the governor of Minnesota. I said there's no guarantee that this is your spot to have, but I would also say I am very proud of the work we've done. Again, when I hear things like child care, or we talk about the uncertainty in the federal government, I think that steels me that this is one of those things I don't think you switch horses midstream.
Governor, last night at a fundraiser, you seem to indicate to people you know where this is headed. You seem to be signaling that you are going to run again. Can we read anything into that?
Well, I think a little bit, and I just said there's a tick-tock of talking to people, and I think at the end of the final decision of a big decision, first and foremost, what's best for Minnesota goes into this, and then talking to our family. We're going to gather over the weekend and make sure we do that, but it's been a privilege. I'm proud of Minnesota. I'm proud of where our rankings are, and I also think of the experience of dealing with some very unprecedented situations, and I will just name it. I am daily in contact via text or phone with the families over at Annunciation, and I will just end with, we have got to do something to make our streets safer, our schools safer, and do some common sense things. And so I think that's a big driving piece.
You're leaning toward running.
Let's go, Suze.
You're leaning toward running.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Well, what
So-
about a special
You said you were
session?
going to announce next week, so have you made a decision?
No.
I don't think we have. I'm looking to
First Lady
say.
Walz. First Lady Walz, has the family made a decision?
Not its entirety.
Not in
Its entirety. Well,
What about a timeline on a special session then?
yeah.
How's that?
Well, we had a great meeting yesterday. I would say, I don't know if I could say it's productive, but it was the first start in that. I met with a caucus last night. My team is meeting with the 4 leaders today. I am still absolutely committed that we need to do something on this. Foundational to that is that I believe with every fiber of my being that we need to take the weapons of war off the streets and the high-capacity magazines. I saw there was an arrest in Washington State last night where a 13-year-old had access to 20-some semi-automatic rifles, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and was prepared to carry out one of these things. The common denominator amongst school shootings is firearms, and we are going to do something about that. As far as how we get there, I've said this, I by the Constitution can call the special session, but it's going to be the legislative leaders that have to run it. And I saw in one of your publications today, the Republicans just point blank said there will not be a vote on an assault weapon ban. They have the ability to stop it if that's what they choose to do, that there would be no vote on that. So I'm still working it. I have a fierce sense of urgency to those parents. We are going to memorialize another young life on Sunday, and each one of those is incredibly painful, and I've said it to them. I would like every member of the Minnesota legislature to watch that entire celebration of life that is coming on Sunday, just to make sure you have all the facts before you make a statement on what you would like to do around this. So I think it's getting through these next few days, especially in that space, and then going in here, we can hold 2 things simultaneously. There's so much good going on. There's so much happiness, joy, and education and learning happening. We need to lift up those students. So we're going to head in here and get that done. So thank you. Let's go, folks.
Oh my goodness.
Are you the best? Serving lunch. I don't. I gotta. Yes.